Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to You and Your Health. Thank you for tuning into our program and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join our program this evening. So my name is Erika Roberts, a co-host of this program, and my other co-host is Dr. Edward Suman. Dr. Eddie is playing multiple roles this evening, so please bear with us as he kind of goes in and out of our screen. So Dr. Eddie, are you there to say hello for a second or?
Yeah, hello. I'm here.
Thank you. I was hoping that you'd be hosted this evening, but
Oh,
I know that you have another
yeah.
another
Another
church
appointment.
commitment and another program and another
Yeah,
presentation that you have to do. So, but
yeah.
I think next week we should probably have a little bit of discussion about COVID vaccinations to see if any church members have obtained it, whether anyone had side effects from it. And
Okay.
in terms of the groups, 1A, 1B, 1C, I know folks probably have questions about which group they may belong to. So if you
Okay.
have information about that next week, that would be good to have. Would that
All
be
right.
okay?
That'll be okay. That'll be fine. That'll be fantastic.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll get started on this evening's discussion then. So, as I mentioned last week, You and Your Health is a faith based health education program, which is centered around the 9 dimensions of wellness, which includes physical health, emotional, mental, spirituality, among others. So, this month, we will focus on the role of occupational health, which was discussed by Sister Mabel Yankee last Tuesday. We'll also talk about physical, emotional, mental, and spirituality. This evening's discussion will be on physical health. Some of us have been lucky to be working from home since the pandemic started, but as you know, unfortunately, working from home comes with its own challenges, the lack of physical activity. I know for myself, I have not been able to work out pretty much at all to be able to maintain my physical strength. So, physical training is something that we can all benefit from. So this evening, this for our discussion, we are lucky enough to have one of our very own, Mr. Michael Amwatin, who's a personal trainer with over 8 years in personal training. Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing today?
Fine, thank you. So Michael is going to be sharing with us his exercise protocol that he will share with us this evening, I should say. And his protocol is based on how we can honor God by maintaining our body. But before we get started, as you all know, we always thank our last speaker that we have on this program. So we want to thank Sister Mabel Yankee for the excellent presentation that she gave us on the role of occupational health in promotion of health and wellness. So we can get started with this evening's discussion with Mr. Martin. Katie, if you're still there, you can bring him back. Thank you. Michael, thank you again for accepting our invitation to be on this program. I know that you are very, very busy. So we certainly do appreciate you taking the time to share with us on your expertise on physical training, particularly with our members and viewers who typically tune into our program. So if you don't mind, are you able to tell our viewers as to why you decided to become a personal trainer and particularly an NCCA personal trainer?
I think for me specifically, so even from the time I guess I was young, fitness has always kind of been my way of expressing myself. So with either playing sports or just growing up, I love to be active. Like I love the active lifestyle, whether it had been playing the drums, which is a form of fitness, or it be just the sports we may see on our TVs. I think fitness for me has always been a way of life. So specifically about personal training, when I was in college, I first started out as an accounting major, and then after I realized maybe accounting
Okay.
wasn't for me, I switched over to exercise science. So exercise science was like my way of learning something that I really was interested in, and trying to take that to the next level. So being a personal trainer is like literally, one of the fitness routes that anyone can take with studying exercise science. So um, I just I want to say it was more so like a safe move, but it was also like something I felt like I can find myself being extremely passionate about.
Okay. I love the fact that your exercise protocol is built on how we can honor God with our bodies. I don't think people take that into consideration at all in terms of maintaining physical strength. So that's a great bonus for having as a personal trainer to
Hmm.
those to your clients, and certainly being here to share with us regarding your expertise. So before you get started, I would like to tell our viewers about your career, because I'm sure
Cool.
they don't know. So Michael Martin is an NCCA personal trainer, as I mentioned earlier. He earned his Bachelor's of Science degree in exercise science and has over 8 years of personal training experience. Michael believes in maximizing people's potential through strategic exercise planning and hard work. He loves helping all his clients understand the science behind the different methods of training and exercise. Michael loves working with all types of clients, attacking their weaknesses and perfecting their strengths. Michael believes that if a person has a good bill of health, it is more valuable than the amount of money they may have. This is very, very true. So, money is not everything. Michael played collegiate football at Wesley College and currently plays semi-pro football for the DMV Legends, that's Maryland, DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. They are currently the number one semi-pro team in the nation and national champions of the Sunshine Bowl. Last but not least, Michael is married and has two boys that love to exercise with their dad, and he loves to spend quality time with his family. So we are again very, very honored to have Michael this evening. So, Dr. Eddie, if you're ready, we can have Michael back, and he can get started on his presentation. So, Michael, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead with your slides. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. So my presentation title is basically exercise protocol during COVID-19 pandemic. Um, I feel like for a lot of people, during this time, it can be either stressful or kind of just there's probably some uncertainty with people's exercising life, and the
Mm-hmm.
very essence of it is that if we as people, or as even Christians, or as a body of Christ, if we don't keep our health up, we honestly can't do the work of God. So the exercise protocol that I'm talking about is basically just trying to stay in the game. If you think of it, the only way God can use us is if we have eligibility. So the only way we're eligible is if we're alive. God can't use us in terms of in this physical aspect with these pretty much the dimensions we live in. He can't use us if we're not here. Nonetheless, so we as individuals have to basically try to keep ourselves in the game, or being eligible by doing certain things like exercise. So exercise in itself is an aspect of basically being healthy. So
That makes perfect sense. That makes
hmm
perfect sense. Obviously, if you don't, keep your physical strength, how will you be able to do God's work fully, right? So
hmm
that's a good analogy to put. So thank you.
definitely. Okay. So my first slide, appreciate your body. Psalms 139, verse 14. Say, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well, or how well I know it. As individuals, we have to appreciate what we have. As anyone, you have to appreciate yourself, even to even grow. If I don't appreciate me, I can't really invest in myself. So with appreciation, it includes gratitude, value, acceptance, enjoyment, and stewardship. So all of those points are, I think they're pretty self-explanatory.
I agree.
But we all at all times have to kind of just see ourselves and basically believe in yourself. One of my biggest mottos is basically be the best you can be. Um and by doing that, not only are you basically appreciating yourself or appreciating your body, but you're basically trying to put your best foot forward by, just understanding your past, knowing your present, and aiming for what you want to aim for in the future. So, yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay, the next slide we have says, honor God with your body. 1 Corinthians 3, verse 16 to 17 says, do you not know that you are the temple of God and that the Spirit of God dwells in you? If anyone defiles the temple of God, God will destroy him. For the temple of God is holy, which temple are you? First
Mm-hmm.
Corinthians 6, verse 13 says, food for the stomach and stomach for foods, but God will destroy both it and them. Now the body is not for sexual immorality, but for the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
and the Lord for the body. Amen.
Amen.
1 Corinthians 6, verses 19 and 20 says, or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God, and you are not your own? For you were bought at a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's.
Mm-hmm.
Um, these three verses that Paul wrote to the church of Corinth, they all explain uh, just the understanding of yourself not not actually being owned by you, and that God owns you, and basically anything you do to yourself, you are defiling God's temple. If our
Right.
body is basically the temple, we have to basically try to preserve that temple.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing things that can be wrong, you're basically dishonoring God. And if we want to look at it from the other aspect, by doing things that are right, we're honoring God. So we want
Yeah.
to basically honor God with our bodies, try to basically stay in the game. We want to put in good things. We want to do things to, to basically, have us preserved, to basically have us, going forward and doing what is right.
Yeah.
So they basically were really hammering this to the church of Corinth, just basically telling them that, hey, God bought you with He purchased you, and
Mm-hmm.
we have to keep in mind that once being purchased, there's more value. Like we have more value to us because we are God's. So,
Mm-hmm. Now,
um,
these are three great verses that you selected. I think if people put in perspective the purpose of being healthy, and why it's defying God by not doing so, I think some of us, including myself, will stick with the program. So hopefully our viewers will take note of these verses that you selected.
amen.
Amen.
The next, I guess, biblical stance with fitness or just the body in itself is maintaining your body. 1 Timothy chapter 4 verses 8 says, for bodily exercise profits a little, but godliness is profitable for all things, having promise of the life that now is and of that which is to come. So with this verse, the first part says, for bodily exercise profits a little. Even though it says profits a little, it still profits. And the verse was more so speaking of basically trying to strengthen your spirit rather than looking to strengthen your flesh or strengthen your body. But nonetheless, it still tells us that the bodily exercise profits some. So this verse basically is telling us that, hey, you know, exercise in itself is good. So
Mhm.
we got to kind of keep that in mind when looking at, you know, things to come. First Corinthians chapter 9 verse 27 says, I discipline my body like an athlete, training it to do what it should. Otherwise, I fear that after preaching to others, I myself may be disqualified. Um, I don't want to get too technical with this verse, but a
Please
lot of
do.
well, when you know a little bit about, I could say, uh, you know, just about what the Bible is saying specific to the time. Paul had a what they called a thorn in the flesh.
Hmm.
Basically, Paul had an impalement. There was something that was going on with Paul. And he says, I discipline my body like an athlete, training it to do what it should. Otherwise, I fear that after preaching to others, I myself may be disqualified. And that in itself basically is showing us that, yes, it is good to discipline your body as if you're an athlete, just because, you know, athletes are those who perform at high levels.
Hmm.
Um, and with that, we have to keep in mind that it is always good to try to put forth the right foot, you know, trying to exercise if you can, or basically just trying to, uh, like I said, be the best you could be.
And you can obviously preach to others about exercising a good health if you're not maintaining it yourself. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's definitely one thing. You know, Jesus talked about. He said, "Hey, you hypocrites," speaking to the Pharisees.
Hmm.
You know, they were very religious, law keeping individuals, and you know, hypocrites in itself, or being hypocritical, basically saying, like, you know, it's like a I don't like a dentist who breath stink. You know, it's like an oxymoron in terms of we as individuals have to practice what we preach.
Exactly.
And if we fail to do that, that in itself basically waters down our testimony, and it basically doesn't show the glory of God. Um,
Yeah.
I think one commandment that I feel like we don't fully grasp is, "Thou shalt not take the Lord, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord in vain."
Hmm.
And I think that verse in itself has little to do with swearing, but more so ambassadorship. That if you are to take the name of the King, you basically have to hold your content, or hold what you're saying to a high standard in terms
Hmm.
of, hey, I'm saying this because I'm living it, or I'm doing this because it not only is beneficial, but it's benefiting me. And that's one thing I believe us as Christians, or believers, or, you know, the elect, or God's predestined, have to kind of grasp just the
Hmm.
whole notion of just knowing that, hey, I represent Christ every day. So if I'm representing Christ and I'm telling people about something specific, if I'm not specifically doing it, how strong is my testimony to,
To
you know,
others. Yeah.
to the lost, to people that don't know Christ, or people that, you know, have not came in contact with the good news. Um,
Yeah. I
so
would tell you, I'm sure a lot of people equates that to the swearing part of it.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's all good. Let's go to the next side. Use your body for God's glory. Romans 6:13 says, "Do not let any part of your body become an instrument of evil to serve sin. Instead, give yourself completely to God, for you were dead, but now you have new life. So use your whole body as an instrument to do what is right for the glory of God."
Mhm.
Romans is one of the most, I guess, it's a piece of literature that is very understandable. If you read something like the book of Job, that basically happened before the flood of Noah. Uh,
Mhm.
some of this is literature in itself. It's like it's not poetry in itself, but
Mhm.
I mean, God gave Job a science lesson in terms of just things that are kind of hard to understand. Now, the book of Romans in itself is very literal. It's very, it was wrote in a way that we can read and understand.
Mhm.
So this uh, chapter 6 verse 13 is very self-explanatory. Romans 12:1 says, and so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all he has done for you. Wow.
Mhm.
Let them
Yep.
be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will
Oh,
find acceptable.
acceptable.
This is truly the way to worship him.
Yeah.
Like I said, very self-explanatory in terms of
Very self-explanatory. Yeah.
what it says. I can't really add to this because this in
Now.
itself is just like it's a period there, and
Yeah.
it's very understandable.
And I
So
think if
amen.
we really follow this, I think everything else will kind of fall through. So yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is definitely
Yeah.
the manuscript to
Hmm.
being on the right path. But
Yeah.
we have life. So
Life gets in the way sometimes,
oh yeah,
like the pandemic.
yeah. No, I mean there's definitely virtues or certain things that may come in our way. But as believers, we have Christ said, cast your burdens onto him, for he cares. And that in itself is a way of just saying, hey, take his load, take Christ's load instead of holding your own burdens, and in the form of just trusting God. I think that's really how we have to kind of see it. Um, Next slide says using your body for God's glory involves developing the right commitment. So we have to be committed. I haven't seen anybody get results alone, with just, working out one day a week for an hour or 2 days a week for an hour. I think it's more than that. I think commitment is a 24-hour process, whether that be sleeping well, eating right, working out, um, bring your stress levels down. There's many things that involve the human we see on an everyday basis. And it's really just not the 1 hour you may work out. So commitment in itself is a 24-hour, 7 day a week, situation that we have to really be committed for. Attitude. Uh,
I have
if
a
we,
question
what's going
about, if you
on?
don't mind, about commitment. So, would you consider someone who may have a routine of either 2 to 3 days a week in terms of just exercise alone?
Mhm.
Would you think that would be sufficient if that's coupled with nutrition as well as lowering their stress level? Do you think that would be enough, or would you consider you will recommend someone exercise daily?
I think it's specific to the goal. I think if the
Okay.
goal is weight loss, you want to do the right things. I think if the goal is specific to an individual who wants to put on muscle, I think
Hmm.
is that in itself is its own form of exercise specificity. Um, and whatever the individual uh, whatever the individual may want. Exercise in itself is like cooking. If you don't put the
Hmm.
right ingredients into making a light soup, it's not gonna be a light soup. It's gonna be like a Panera bread soup. So if you don't put the right ingredients into making, any food, whether it be Diego or anything,
Hmm.
it's not gonna come out the right way, and that's how exercise is. So if I'm trying to put on muscle, and I'm doing 2 hours of cardio a day, I'm gonna see myself shrink. I'm just gonna,
Right.
just keep getting smaller, and vice versa. Like if I want to lose weight and I lift for 2 hours every day,
You're gonna bulk up.
yeah, you're just not gonna get the right results.
Hmm.
So I always feel like in order to maximize your time in the gym, every individual needs an exercise prescription. You need to know what you're supposed to do when you're there, so you don't waste your time, and so that you also maximize your time. Yeah,
That's
because
true.
the gym now has become like a social scene for a lot of people, whereby they just go to the gym to talk, or
Mm.
not. It's not as goal specific for everybody, but I feel like we as individuals have to really be mindful of just doing the right thing in the gym, pretty
Yeah.
much
So,
doing the right exercises.
so would you recommend the folks get evaluated, get the assessment, get their whole little profile made before starting an
Yeah,
exercise routine?
yeah, I think it'd be good to kind of see where you're at, to figure out if I have certain limitations that, hey, my core strength isn't too strong. So if I'm trying to lift heavy weights, it's not that my arm strength isn't there. It's that my core strength is not allowing me to do enough weight based upon, the weakness of, you know, my core, basically,
Hmm.
your front and your back.
Yeah.
So yeah, there I think assessments are definitely beneficial for results.
Okay.
Definitely. Yep.
Thank
The other one says attitude. You just want to go into it with the right mind, very positive, forward thinking, being optimistic about, just trying to take it to the next level. Habits. You want to develop good habits, whether they be meditating, stretching, um, doing, just anything that kind of puts you in the right place. A habit can honestly be, hey, I I make sure that I get on the train,
you.
because if I drive, I know that I may go and stop at the bar, or may go do something. So habits in themselves produce results.
Mm.
If you wake up in the morning and you make your bed before you go to work, uh, studies show that you will be more productive than the individual that didn't.
Mhm.
So habits in themselves actually produce results. And the last thing on the list is activities. Activities basically just like specific things that people do to get the results that they want.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. So that was really like um the biblical background of exercise and fitness. Now there's
Mhm.
some questions I would want to pose to individuals. Just something that you can think about for yourself. Do you currently have any pandemic fitness goals, or current pandemic fitness goals, in terms of, are you telling yourself, hey, I want to lose 15 pounds, hey, I want to get my body fat percentage down, hey, I want to get stronger, hey, I want to be able to fit that size 40 suit? I think it's very good to have goals, just because there's something that is measurable, something that
Mhm.
you can see on a daily basis. If you have some form of a board or so, you can
Mm.
write your goals down on the board. And I think it definitely goes a long way in terms of an individual basically accomplishing something that they want to accomplish.
Yeah.
Um, Another question you may pose to yourself is, did you exercise regularly before the pandemic?
Mhm.
So before all of this happened, where we've kind of been, working from home, haven't been, haven't had the same access and the same exposure to other individuals, where we exercise.
So I think some folks feel like they probably have more time now that they're working home to be
Mm-hmm.
able to fit in exercise, and perhaps they couldn't before when they were
Mm-hmm.
actually going outside to work. But I found out that you can't just stay in front of your computer when you wake up till at night.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, in my opinion, there's little breaks depending on what type of job you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's made it difficult for you to take time out to exercise. And now that the gyms, some of the gyms are open, but people may not necessarily feel comfortable to still go out to exercise. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely see the dilemma.
Mhm,
And yeah, it's definitely scary in terms of the virus being spread in close
mhm,
proximity. I don't know if the science is still saying that. I guess the ventilation is still
mhm,
spreading the virus, but I mean those are
mhm,
things that any any person that is precautious would even think about. So,
mhm.
the concern is definitely it's good to be concerned. Um
Right.
and I think I think what's best for people is for them to find themselves in a place that they can feel comfortable, whether
Mhm,
that be in the gym, whether that be outside. I have a lady I train, one of my clients I train at 6 a.m.
mhm,
Every Monday and Thursday outside.
mhm.
So I train her
Wow.
outside in this whatever 30 degrees weather. I'm
Mhm.
like, I got a jacket on, I got a hoodie on. I'm
You're
basically
cold.
suited and booted. I may even put Vaseline on my face and my hands. But for her, it works for her because
Mhm,
she's able to get a good workout.
mhm,
And the virus in itself, to my understanding, it's not easily spread outside.
mhm,
So yeah,
mhm,
it's really about what you're comfortable doing. If you know a small gym that's kind of that doesn't really have too many individuals going in and out, that the people are kind of like-minded, whereby
mhm,
they take the right precautionary steps in terms of they keep social distancing,
mhm,
they keep to their to their family, and they pretty much are doing the right thing. Like, hey, maybe that may be the gym for you.
mhm,
But I think everybody should kind of always think outside of the box and just not tell themselves, "Oh, the gym is open, but I don't want to get coronavirus." I get it.
mhm,
I get it's a very good thing to think about. But what is the next thought? What is the next provoking thought? That is there a way? I do believe that there is a way for everybody to remain fit during the
mhm.
pandemic, but we all have to take the right steps to get in there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
do you do personalized training alone, or do you do group sessions as well?
I kind of geared away from the group sessions
Mhm.
currently. And even a lot of gyms aren't offering that option at the moment. I
Okay.
know even my gym, which is located in the District of Columbia or DC,
Mhm.
they can't do group fitness inside the gym. They have to do it on the roof, which is like an
Okay.
outdoor space. Just based on the current guidelines that the state laws may pose. It
Okay.
just really depends. But for me, I don't really do the group scene anymore. It
Okay.
was definitely fun. I definitely appreciated it. But I think just my current aspirations kind of has me not doing it at the moment.
Okay.
Cool. Um, the next question I had was, have you gained? Oh, it's supposed to say weight. It's spelled weight the wrong way, but have you gained weight or feel unhealthy due to the pandemic? This is a real thought-provoking question that you have to kind of ask yourself in
Mhm.
terms of, hey, where have I gone in terms of this since this pandemic? I know for myself, I've gained about maybe 5 pounds since the start of this pandemic. And I don't know if it's because I'm turning 30 now soon, or
Oh my God, Michael.
is just due to just the quarantine diet. We're eating more now because we're home. We're enjoying the house more. And it's just something you got to ask yourself, like, hey, have I gained weight, or or do I feel unhealthy?
Mhm,
It's just two things to ask yourself. And then the last question is, how often do I get engaged in any form of physical activity,
mhm,
whether that be walking, taking the stairs if you go to a place that has an elevator, um, you know, uh, getting up and doing maybe 60 seconds of jumping jacks within your home. Are you basically doing any form of physical activity? Um, I think is something to think about. And if the answer is no, um, we all can do something. That's
Mhm.
really the notion that I want to kind of get to people.
So what if the person has not gained weight, right? If they're the
Hmm.
same size and they have not gained weight since the
Hmm.
pandemic, but obviously they probably also have not exercised, then what advice would you give them?
I would say I would go. I would actually pose my first question. What are your current pandemic fitness goals?
Mhm,
In terms of where do you want to go? Do you want to put on muscle? Do you want to kind of grow a little bit in certain areas? Do you want to tone your body? I think those are all the questions you got to kind of to ask. It's just
mhm,
like before you make a food, like let's say you're hungry. Um, if you're hungry, what do you want to eat? That's very specific in terms of like, okay, even though I've maintained my weight, where do I want to go from this? Is the
mhm,
same kind of question because with cooking, if I want to make something specific, I got to put the right ingredients into it. Same thing with exercising. If I want to get certain results, I got to do specific things. So I think even if someone has maintained their weight, it's cool. I mean, basically saying that the amount of calories that you're intaking is basically where your metabolic rate is. Saying that your metabolic rate may be, let's say, 1,800 calories.
mhm,
You may just be consuming 1,800 calories per day. And that's really how people maintain their weight on like I guess on an elementary level.
mhm.
But nonetheless, you got to kind of think, oh, okay, where do I want to go from here? So that's
Okay.
that. Cool.
So let me just send a message to Dr. Eddie. Dr. Eddie, if you're there and there are questions from the audience, feel free to stop posting them so that Mike will be able to answer as he keeps talking about his presentation. So, there you
Cool.
go.
All right. All right. So we're gonna get into a little bit of on weight loss. Weight loss. I mean, what causes your weight fluctuation? Definitely carb intake, salt intake, stress, lifting weights, like I talked about a little bit, meal timing, eating too late can be bad for an individual who wants to basically lose weight, and then filled with bowels. A lot of times, if we have to use the bathroom, that can definitely make our weight. We get
Mhm.
on the scale. At night it may say I'm 205. I get on the scale in the morning, it can say I'm 200 pounds. And so that
Mhm.
5 pound fluctuation definitely happens throughout the day. Um, so basically, maintaining a weight loss comes from basically maintaining a low carb diet. And we also, I think one thing as individuals that we have to really understand that carbs are more than just starches. I think a lot of times we think of carbs and say, oh, the rice and the
Mhm.
potatoes and the bread. Those are
Mhm.
starches that have high carbohydrate properties. But we get a carbs from anything.
Sugars,
Yeah,
fruits.
definitely fruits. So a lot of
Yep.
times, even I know a lot of individuals that they always have the question, why am I not losing weight, but I'm just drinking fruit smoothies all the time?
Mhm.
But you always have to understand that if the carbohydrates that we intake, if they're supposed to give us energy and that energy is stored, it's
Mhm.
basically going to turn into adipose tissue or fat.
Mhm.
So consuming too much sugar or too many carbs, it definitely doesn't help us unless we're burning those calories.
Question about smoothies. Like, would you recommend folks add greens to it? So, like, when I do mine, I have kale, ginger,
Hmm.
lemon, and either banana and apple, kind of like half and half. But it's mostly the kale that's
Hmm.
in there. So, would you recommend that they add a lot more greens to it versus just having, the multiple fruits and the berries and all of that?
Yeah, I think the greens are definitely good. I think uh greens are good, and then you just want to make sure that you're monitoring the sugar that's
Mhm.
within the smoothie. And I think if you're able to, maybe drink a smoothie for breakfast and kind
Hmm.
of just, make it through your day, eating at the right times, I think that in itself will produce the results that most people are looking for. Um, does that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Okay, cool, cool.
Thanks.
Uh, the other one says low protein. A lot of times we always think that, oh, let me just get this protein shake, just because I need a protein shake, and then I'm gonna eat a steak, and then I'm gonna eat a thing of baked chicken, and I'm gonna be good. But we don't realize that excess protein,
Hmm.
based upon where we kind of really want to go, can do the same effect in terms of what carbs do with having you gain weight. So
Hmm.
eating too much protein is not good. Um,
Would
and
that
then
help if someone's trying to build up muscles, though?
it helps. Okay, so this is how we kind of think of it in the exercise world. So we basically say 1 gram per body weight. So let's say I weigh 140 pounds, 150 pounds, and I want to get to, maybe, let's say my goal is to get to 180 pounds, right?
Hmm.
I want to basically eat 180 grams of protein. That's really where I want to get to. And now, if I'm trying to get bigger, that's my goal. So, and basically, if you look at it from the opposite spectrum, if I want to lose weight,
Hmm.
let's say I'm at 150 and I want to get down to 130, I need to only be consuming 130 grams of protein. So that's kind of how we have to kind of think of it in terms of not eating too much protein, eating the right amount, because it does help in terms of muscle regeneration, and basically having your muscles, uh, when we use our muscles to basically help them regrow. Protein is definitely very beneficial in terms of that.
Okay. Thank
hmm
you.
I think an easy one, low fat diet. You don't want to consume too much fat. I think the good fats are definitely good, whether they be like omega-3 fats or fats
Hmm.
from, like avocados or salmon, or, things of that nature. They're good, but we just have to keep in mind that we don't want the saturated fat, or the fat, that isn't good for us. So whether that be like the greasy foods or the fat,
Hmm.
just fats that are coming. I don't want to say from an unnatural standpoint, but we don't want to eat fried chicken all the time, or we don't want to eat, just the bad foods that can be there, that don't have the good fats, whether they be sweets, candies, those are all kind of like the bad fats that we could get.
So,
Um,
what about the omega-3s
mhm.
supplements, the
I they're
fish oils and
Yeah, I
things?
think I think they're definitely good if we aren't getting them in our diet. So if
Hmm.
we're not getting foods that are rich in omega 3, then
Hmm.
we should definitely supplement with it. And I think for most people, they're not eating salmon every day,
Right.
you know, and that may not eating salmon every day isn't good, because you're is high on mercury. So
Mercury. Yeah.
yeah, if you're a female who is even pregnant, that can, it in itself, cause a miscarriage.
Hmm.
So nonetheless, we want to. I think supplementing omega-3 oil is definitely good, just because it's hard to really get it in a balanced diet, and
Hmm.
stay on the right path to where we want to go. So I think omega-3 oils, which is in a lot of different daily vitamins, I think is
Hmm.
definitely good for us to intake.
Okay.
Cool. So with weight loss, cardiovascular exercises are very beneficial. Just because the way that the body works is that there's basically something called the Krebs cycle, and I have a slide on it. I probably should just fast forward it to it real quick. It should
Sure.
come up. It may be at the end of this slide though, but let me fast forward it to it real quick, and I'll go back. Give me 1 second. I think it's somewhere. Okay, sorry.
That's
Uh-oh.
okay. Mhm.
Let me. Sorry. Let me click onto it real quick, and I'm gonna go
Okay.
back. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, take
Didn't
your
know that
time.
is 1 second. Oh. Is this it? Okay, here we go. Let me get back into this. Now let me slideshow view. Let me go over here. Are you able to see it in a slideshow view?
Yes. At the
Okay.
table.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It
Okay.
says comparing energy systems.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me see it.
Okay. So it in this. Hold on. Give me 1 second, because I'm trying to
Okay.
get it back to being able. Okay. Cool. All right.
Mhm.
Now this is the energy system. But hold on 1 second. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm trying to find. Okay. I can speak about this one real quick, because this
Okay.
actually explains this in terms of what. So when we do cardiovascular exercises, they fit into the aerobic category. The rate of ATP production. ATP production is like the glucose that is within our bodies that is ready to be fired out to basically do anything. So if I was going to do like 100-meter sprint real quick, that's like the
Mhm.
ATP production of like sugar that is ready to be used. The total ability to produce ATP when we do aerobic activities are very high. And with that, basically, is saying that glucose, muscle, and liver glycogen, adipose, and intramuscular fats are the fuels that's being used.
Mhm.
With doing an aerobic exercise, our body basically uses adipose tissue as the fuel to go forward. So when we think of like a car, basically we put gas into the car so that the car can go forward. Now, aerobic activities basically just mean that it's over 3 minutes. So
Mhm.
anytime we do an exercise for 3 minutes and above, we're basically doing an aerobic activity. Now, at the 30-minute mark, when we do cardio or cardiovascular activity or an aerobic activity, whether that be walking, running, biking, jogging, any boxing, any form of
Mhm.
aerobic activity, basically has adipose tissue or body fat as the main energy source after 30 minutes.
Mhm.
30 minutes into a cardiovascular exercise, our body basically uses adipose tissue as the main energy source. So if I basically do an hour worth of cardio, from the 30-minute mark to an hour or the 60-minute mark, I'm basically using adipose tissue as the main source of fuel.
Mhm.
So if we want to basically have, decrease our body fat, doing a cardiovascular activity is definitely a good thing to do in addition to basically having a good diet, or um, you know, or intermittent fasting, whereby we only eat for certain times. We don't eat past the like 7 or so. And then we basically, our body fasts for anywhere between, like, let's say 14 to 16 hours. And that in itself produces a lot of results, because from one, I'm basically using my body fat to give me energy. And that's by doing a cardiovascular activity post 30 minutes. So anytime I hit the 30-minute mark and I can continue to go,
Mhm.
even though I may be suffering from doing the cardiovascular activity, I know that body fat is the main energy source of basically of what is fueling me to go forward. So I just wanted to jump to the slide real quick to
Okay.
kind of have that go with that. So
Explain.
I'm gonna go back real quick. Okay, cool. So we were
Now,
here.
now stop interrupting you so you can complete your
Oh,
slide.
I got a lot of slides, and I know we only got
I
like
know,
an
I'm like,
hour.
yeah, you have like
So
10 more minutes or so. I'm not
yeah,
sure. Eddie will let us know if we have to get off, but I think
and
we can go a little over.
it's a lot to kind of talk about, just because the body in itself. I always say we didn't get our current body in one day.
Hmm.
More than one day that took for me to look like this, for this person to look like that. So it's hard to explain all of this in one day.
Mhm.
So
I agree.
nonetheless, it's like, we gotta kind of learn as we go. And that's
Mhm.
that everybody in the fitness world learns something new, as they keep, as they stay in the fitness game, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So cardiovascular exercises can include jumping jacks, running in place, high knees, hops, bicycle riding, swimming, jogging, or even dancing. So just things that you could do. Like I said, you want to do a post 30 minutes to really target that body fat. And for most people now want to lose weight. The majority of individuals want to lose weight. So these are very good exercises that you can do in your home, whether it be jumping jacks, running in place, doing high knees, doing hops,
Mhm.
dancing. You want to
Like
base,
Zumba.
yeah, Zumba. And I'll at a point switch to a YouTube
Mhm.
channel or
Mhm.
link that basically has a lot of good home workout exercises that any individual could do.
Okay.
Cool. A lot of individuals go to the gym in terms of trying to tone their body, with doing basically total body exercises. So this is not limited, but or can be basically high intensity interval training. I guess HIT is basically the way we kind of say it in terms of how we say it in the fitness world, but it's also anaerobic training. So
Mhm.
that's basically any exercise that is done from, you could say, 15 seconds to about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So that's kind of like where um, the HIT classification is from. Um,
Okay.
so it could be calisthenics. This over here, this image just kind of goes in through a quarantine workout an individual could do.
Mhm.
It could be jumping jacks for 30 reps into push-ups for 50 reps, which is kind of difficult for most people to do.
Mhm.
But you could do them on your knees. You can basically, make it a little easier, by
Mhm.
doing them on your knees. You can do dips, 30 reps, burpees, which is kind of illustrated in this picture, jumping jacks. Um,
Mhm.
and the other one was mountain climbers. This is
Okay.
3 times or three sets for a minute. Um, so this kind of just goes into, like, some home stuff you could do.
Mhm.
Um, this is another image of different ways to target specific muscles, without having any weight.
Mhm.
If you look at something that like glutes, we see here we have squats, we have donkey kicks, we have bridges, we have tuck jumps, we have fly steps, leg raises, different
Mhm.
exercises that we could do without having, a gym.
Mhm.
This is a good image of just different stuff we could do.
Mhm.
Um, Real quick, in terms of vitamins and supplements, in terms of with COVID-19 being as scary as it is,
Mhm.
um, one way that we can basically just keep our immune system high is basically uh, just consuming this, what we can call cocktail, just because it has different vitamins,
Mhm.
just to keep our immune system high. And those vitamins would be vitamin C, zinc, melatonin, and vitamin D3,
Mhm.
specific to the amount that you would want to take. But these four vitamins in themselves can help boost our immune system. That can definitely help us, even if we, I guess, were to come in contact with the COVID,
Okay. Yeah.
just to protect ourselves and to stay in the game as we
Mhm.
go to our first point.
Yeah.
Um, yep. The next slides I have is basically specific to exercise science, just kind of diving into the study and the theory and how exercise science was kind of came about. Um,
Mhm.
but nonetheless, if there are any questions, I would rather answer those,
Okay.
because the rest of the slides are really just specific to physical activity, exercise, and things
Mhm.
of what it means. In terms of this, it says health benefits,
Mhm.
and so I would rather just kind of answer questions that individuals may have specifically.
Okay. Let me see if Eddie's still on. Dr. Eddie, do we have any questions for Michael to answer? Hopefully he's still on and not in his other presentation because he has the ball in terms of posting questions for us to view. So Eddie, can you hear us or he's just presenting hopefully me?
And if he doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. I can jump
And
to.
you can talk about the health benefits really quick if you don't
Oh,
mind.
okay. The health benefits to basically physical activity are enhanced cardiovascular function, so your heart in itself will work better. Reduction of many cardiovascular disease risk factors.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so basically, you won't be at high risk for any form of whether it be heart or heart related problems. Increase ability to perform tasks of daily living.
Mm-hmm.
So just being very mobile. You know, at work, somebody say, "Hey, can you uh, take this over there?" Or it could be like a box. It could be something that can be physically strenuous, so that
Mm-hmm.
you don't hurt your back, and are going through back pain for the next 3 weeks or so. Being physically fit definitely helps you perform even just daily life tasks. And I know Mabel definitely probably hammered that with talking
Mm-hmm.
about occupational therapy and basically
She
being able
did.
to work and work efficiently, and getting back to being able to do
Mm-hmm.
daily tasks.
Right. Activities of daily living. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely spoke to us about it.
So we have reduced risk of muscle and joint injuries. A lot of times, if we don't exercise, we can literally just be walking, and we can either pull a muscle, we could strain something, we could come down too hard on our ankle,
Mm-hmm.
we could press too hard with our heel, we could be going through certain pain that if we exercise wouldn't be there. A lot of times, like back pain in itself, is we can the correlation between reduced core strength and back pain are very high. That people who have a lot of back pain don't
Mm-hmm.
have strong cores,
Yeah.
whether it be, from the front to the back. And the core in itself is just not like someone's abdominals. It's like the whole unit, like the front and the back. So
Mm-hmm.
um I know with even doing like a physical assessment in the exercise world, a good way to test core strength is to have someone try to do a 2-minute plank. So planking itself is when they have your arms forward, you like this,
Mm-hmm.
basically down on your elbow or your forearm like this. Your legs are straight, and basically from your shoulders all the way to
Mm-hmm.
your ankles, you want to keep your body in a straight path, like basically like a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
And doing that for 2 minutes basically says through just uh, individuals who have certified that exercise in itself, that this individual's core strength will not limit any form of strength training or any form of daily activity, based upon their core strength being able to do that 2-minute plank. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
not able to do the 2-minute plank, it then tells us that, hey, we got to work on your core, but also um, you may be limited in terms of having more of certain issues, or basically not being able to lift uh, an getting to be able to reach your fitness goals in terms of strength training.
Mm-hmm.
We also have improved work performance. So because I'm able to work out or exercise, I can work longer, just
Mm-hmm.
because my body's physically fit.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense. And the improved physical appearance, I think a lot of us may want to go to the gym for these reasons. And I think, in itself, vanity can I don't want to kind of like
Can
be
help.
sound contradicting when I've been talking so much about the Bible. But vanity in itself, sometimes the mirror can show you who you are and give you the fuel to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be, hey, I'm going on vacation. I want to make sure I have a good body for the time I may hit the beach, or just kind of thinking good about yourself in terms of having maybe higher self-esteem. just basically feeling like, you believe in yourself, kind of.
Yeah.
So we have self-image and then sound mental health as well.
Mhm.
Um, so nonetheless, these are just the health benefits of exercise.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, I have a lot of slides.
Yeah.
This PowerPoint was actually something I presented in Ghana,
Oh,
when we did,
wow.
yeah, when we
When
did
you
the
all
health,
went?
yeah, the health missions trip. I kind of went through. This is pre-COVID, so I didn't talk anything about the COVID stuff. But uh,
Okay.
to the health professionals that were in Ghana, we kind of hammered this on,
Hmm.
in terms of telling them, how fitness in itself benefits everybody everywhere.
Right.
And it's something that we always want to keep in mind of. But what I want to do real quick, because I know we've hit an hour, I just want to
Yeah.
go
Sure.
in, into this YouTube video in terms
Okay.
of doing like a n- uh, uh, a no equipment quick workout. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, I can, I guess, copy and paste this link into maybe the question board. So if any
Okay.
individual who wanted to maybe find this link and kind of can do
Mm.
one of these workouts. But
Okay.
it's kind of female based, but nonetheless, if any man does these workouts, I'm pretty sure they will feel the burn as well. I'm just gonna click any one of them. I'm gonna
Okay.
go full screen. Sorry, there's a quick ad.
That's okay. We
Uh,
haven't been kicked off yet, so I think we're good.
okay, cool. Let me kind of lower it a little bit. You can skip the ad now. So it's definitely inspirational in terms of
Hmm.
seeing a lot of these fitness individuals, their appearance to kind of say, hey, maybe if I work out as much, I could. Not saying you want to be like this individual, but more so saying like, hey, I can achieve the
Hmm.
results I want to achieve as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So let me.
And this link may possibly have exercise related to all different aspects, right? So if somebody wants to strengthen their core or their legs, their back, they should
Hmm.
be able to find some videos related to that.
Yeah, definitely. Because it has a lot of videos. And
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is a very good source for free content.
Mm-hmm.
They're not charging you for this information, but it's definitely beneficial
Mm-hmm.
for any individual to be able to accomplish whatever goal they would want to accomplish. So this in itself is the HIT cardio workout.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and really with HIT workouts is basically calorie based.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the workout, they may say, "Hey, we're trying to basically burn 800 calories."
Mm-hmm.
We're burning 800 calories if you basically, or let's say 700. If we basically burn 700 calories, 5 workouts, within a week, we've burned a pound. 3,500 calories is how we basically burn 1 pound.
Mm-hmm.
So specifically, we're doing the exercise like this.
Mm-hmm.
It basically is geared towards burning calories
Mm-hmm.
and trying to measure your goals. So basically
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, I'm burning 700 calories 5 days a week. Doing I'm basically burning 3,500 calories, and which is definitely good for weight loss.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm gonna turn the video up a little bit just to
Sure.
show you just the different moves that this individual is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this one I could say is probably like an intermediate video whereby
Mm-hmm.
it's like, if you've exercised before, you used to exercise a good amount before the pandemic, I'll say, hey, this video is good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But also let's say, hey, I didn't really exercise before the pandemic, and I do want to, um, you know, get into exercising. There are other videos that may say, hey, beginner, no equipment workout, that will
Mm-hmm.
basically be good for an individual that has not worked out before, um, or who has, like, let's say, flexibility limitations that, they probably won't give you too hard of exercises to do.
Mm-hmm.
So those are just things that you want to look out for.
So what exactly is she doing? She's strengthening her legs or her
Yeah,
core or just all of it?
so basically, what she was doing, she was just doing some hip mobility,
Okay.
opening her groin. so that when she does something like a squat or so, her groin doesn't either pull or she doesn't feel any pain down there. Just because, nonetheless, you gotta kind of you gotta work the motion before you do an active motion. So the stretching that she's doing is pretty dynamic because there's a lot of movement involved with the stretching she's doing. But that in itself prepares you to not, so the muscle's warm, the
And pull
muscle's
a
ready.
muscle when you get to the
Yeah.
actual activity.
So,
Yeah.
just to kind of protect yourself from injury.
Mhm.
So, nonetheless, um, this was a good video, and they have plenty. Let me see. I'll press back. Didn't really go back. Let me go from here. This is good. And yeah, like I was saying, they have a lot of different exercises in terms of any individual would be able to benefit from doing this form of no weighted exercise. No weighted exercise regimens. So I'll post the link.
Okay.
Um, every individual can see. But
Okay.
nonetheless, I hope this was beneficial.
It was. It was. I think Eddie might be presenting. That's why he hasn't responded yet. But this was very, very beneficial. I'm sure that our members have gained a lot from this discussion as well. And what we're gonna do is also post your slides so they can also take a look at it.
Definitely.
And if you don't mind sending Eddie the link, if you're not able to post in the chat, or you
I
can
could do
post
that.
it. I know you're an admin person too, so you can always post it for
Yeah, I could
people to
definitely
get.
do that.
So
So
that's good to
individuals
have.
can be able to use it.
Yeah. But I
Uh,
would still recommend that people try to get assessment as much as possible, because even though there are programs online, it's not tailored specifically to them
it is
and their
definitely not.
needs. Yeah.
hmm And us as individuals, we definitely would want to have a good exercise prescription
Mm-hmm.
to basically be able to maximize our goals.
Mm-hmm.
And if we basically are just doing what we find online, it may not
Mm-hmm.
be specific to helping us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
basically want to maybe find ourselves, maybe meet with a trainer,
Mm-hmm.
or even your primary care doctor, once you get your physical, can say, hey, you should maybe go meet with what do they call it? Oh boy.
What, a
The
nutritionist or
no, not the nutritionist, is the the exercise
exercise
physiologist.
physiologist? Yeah.
Yeah, if you may have an issue, whether it be cardiovascular issue or so, but they could go through a good assessment with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's like a path that someone's insurance may have, that they, if you go to a gym, everything you pay would be out of pocket,
Yeah.
for most gyms.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a recommendation from, your primary care doctor to go and meet with the exercise physiologist, they
Mm-hmm.
can definitely go through an assessment with you to kind of let you know, hey, you want to work on this. You have limited flexibility in your hamstrings by the sit and reach test that you did.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to basically limit back pain, or to not feel so much pain when you sit down for long times, you have to strengthen your glutes, and you have to increase this, lower spine flexibility, which in itself is beneficial for not having back pain, for not feeling certain pain, on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's
Okay.
definitely a path that any individual could take through their primary care doctor, through their insurance, to basically get that necessary help.
Assessment done. So
hmm
do you do any best web training, I should say, versus
Yeah,
just in person?
yeah. So I do virtual training.
Mm-hmm.
And my virtual training is basically this for individuals that want to do the virtual training. For some people, they benefit more from being, in the physical scene,
Mm-hmm.
being, but for other individuals, they're more so, they get better results from, you know, being in their own space,
Mm-hmm.
working out, regularly, and they just need you as account or me as accountability individual for them. So we
Mm-hmm.
do virtual sessions, um, and it's basically the same. I'm there just kind of coaching them through each movement or each activity. They have their own equipment or so. If they don't have equipment, we just basically use things that may be around the house, like a couch or so, that they'll basically either do squats from, or they'll be able to do dips, arm dips from. And there's a lot of different things you could do in your house. And then the coaching, if I see something wrong, I basically coach the individual up, say, hey, slide your right foot out a little more, put your hands on your head, make sure that you look up at your ceiling when you squat. Make sure
Mm-hmm.
you're breathing right. You want to breathe in through your nose, you want to breathe out through your mouth. Certain cues like that basically has an individual do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you exercise, like I said, you never want to waste your time.
Mm-hmm.
Wasted gym time can be very frustrating because you're not getting the results you want, and then it's like it in itself can like bring a form of depression,
Mm-hmm.
whereby it's like you see yourself working hard, but since you weren't doing the right things, you didn't get the results you wanted. You now feel very pessimistic about going to the gym. Then you
Mm-hmm.
don't go to the gym, and then you put on weight or you start losing weight, and that then can lead to either like sometimes even bulimia or
Mm-hmm.
overeating in terms of like gluttony.
Mm-hmm.
So nonetheless, you always want to do the right things, and I feel like to have an expert opinion or have some form of guidance definitely produces the results that individuals want.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, thank you. This has been very, very educational, and I'm certainly hoping that our viewers will be able to, take the clues that you've given them to hopefully improve on their physical life. And we certainly
Hmm.
will share your slides again on the church platforms, and
Definitely.
certainly now, if someone wants to like reach you in terms of trying to to have you as a personal trainer or something like that,
Hmm.
how would they contact you?
I will put two things: my cell phone number,
Okay. Well,
on
don't
the
put it
chat.
on this thing here yet. Don't put it on
Oh,
the
this is
chat
not a,
yet.
okay. Cool, cool. So yeah, they
Uh,
can either
they
reach me
can email
via
you or
email,
okay.
email, Facebook, or
Okay.
cell phone are
Hmm.
all ways that you can reach me. And I
Okay.
definitely will answer within a short period of time, just because I know people always, if you're looking for help, you
Hmm.
definitely, you should get the help that you're looking for.
Okay. So on Facebook, they can reach you by your name. If they search your
Yes.
name, they'll be able to find you. Okay.
So my name on Facebook is just Mike and
Okay.
Martin. Yeah.
Micah
So
Martin.
yeah,
Okay, so you guys, hopefully, your viewers, hopefully you heard it. So look for Micah Martin on Facebook, and we will certainly, if you contact us, we will certainly give you his contact information as well, as far as his email and his cell number,
yeah.
so that he'll be able to contact you. So,
Mhm.
okay, well, thank you, Michael. This has been awesome, and sorry I took more time from you. And I think
Yeah,
Eddie's still not back. So I just, whenever you're ready, you can just leave the studio and I'll just close out, and we'll forward your information onto the
definitely,
church platform.
definitely. I
Okay.
definitely appreciate the time that you guys all took, uh, you know, to just believe me, in terms of believing what I'm saying or believing that I, have the knowledge to
Of
help.
course.
Yeah,
Of
definitely.
course.
It's good to be trusted, or it's good to be seen as either an
Uh,
expert or just to know, hey,
I, I guess
they-
he's back because he's posting stuff now. Michael, please call me in response to my questions if you would. So that's says Uncle
Uncle
Jeff.
Jeff.
Yes, I
Oh,
think.
what question? Okay, cool.
Yeah, he probably had questions that So, what type of diet benefits a Christian the most? Vegetarian, vegan, keto, paleo, pescatarian, likewise,
Okay.
which exercise regimen to use? Cardio, weight, cross training, Zumba, yoga, or Tai Chi? I
Okay.
think
So
all the above, but Michael will answer.
yeah, I think whatever's sustainable. I think okay, we talk about being a Christian, or we talking about our Christian walk. I think one thing that we have to do as Christians is basically build a life or a lifestyle that is actually sustainable in itself. So if you want to do keto, which basically ketosis is like, it in itself is basically putting your body in a, like, I don't want to call it a parasympathetic situation, but it's more so it's like you are trying, your body is trying to survive
Mhm,
through doing keto, right?
mhm,
So if that is something that you can, if you feel like you can do it for a long period of time, or you can have a lifestyle of this, I think as Christians, with how we choose to do our diet, we have to do things that we're ready to do forever, or because that's the way that your body responds the right way. So whether it be through not not eating meat, if you repent from eating meat, then you repent. I think even psychologically, if we tell ourselves, hey, oh, I want to try keto today. Oh, no, I want to be a pescatarian tomorrow. Oh, I want to be a herbivore the next day. Oh, I want to do, I think that in itself, that kind of, jump, that life while we're jumping to this, that, and the third, I think
not
that in itself,
consistent.
yeah, it's not a sustainable
Mm,
situation. It's not consistent, and it doesn't produce the results you want because you don't even know how your body is responding to it, based upon the short amount of time. So I think it in itself, whatever you choose to do, I think you should basically tell myself, hey, I lived this life before. I have repented from doing that, and now I'm going towards this direction. I think just as you think about, our Christian walk, that's kind of how we do with whether it be sin or whether it be anything. That hey, this is behind me. I'm going forward towards doing this.
mhm.
Then we have another question. It said
Yes,
diet.
in lieu of exercise or to exercise and care less about what you eat. So, do you exercise without paying particular attention to your nutrition, or do you um, do the nutrition and not exercise?
I,
In my
I
opinion, you do both. You have to do
Yeah,
both.
you
So.
gotta do both, and it's definitely based upon your metabolism. I think a lot of us can remember when we were like in middle school or high school, when we were able to eat anything, and then we didn't gain any weight. We wanted to get, oh, I want to gain weight so bad, and we
Mm,
weren't able to gain weight. I think at a certain age that shifts. You no longer, your metabolism pretty much slows down, and the things you eat is like, man, I ate 6 crackers, and I can see all six, on my. So I definitely believe that as individuals, we have to basically eat right. And in addition to exercise, I think they're both important to gaining the results we want.
Yeah, and I think he wants the fat burning home workout, but we're gonna post your slides
Yeah,
anyway, so that will be part of it.
and
And like,
I put it. Well, I think I put it in the private chat.
oh, you did.
Yeah, I wanted to post it. I don't know if I can post it on the comments. Uh,
Um, you might be able to. I don't have access to that because Eddie has
yeah,
the thing. But if not, then we can put it in on the church platform, which he has access to as well.
yeah.
So, Dr. Eddie, if you're back there, if you have other questions, you can pose. If not, then
Yeah,
um,
I think the questions that were posted up there are the ones that I
you post it.
put on the
Okay.
screen. Yeah,
Okay.
and I saw the.
There's feedback on your other presentation.
Oh, sorry.
I told our viewers that you're doing 10 things for the church tonight, so it's okay. So you just jump back off again. But if there are no other questions, we're gonna let Michael go. We've taken enough time of his time this evening. So
Mm.
um, so thank you, Michael, again, and we
Yeah,
hope that you do come back for another another discussion on physical health and maintaining strength and physical health again. Even
Mm.
drinking water shows on my stomach. Auntie Charlotte, your mom. I agree with you, Auntie. That happens to me as well. So
It happens, but nonetheless, we got to push forward. We got to try to work out as we can, and
yes.
it's gonna be okay.
All right. Well,
All
have
right,
a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful.
everybody have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
All
See
right.
ya.
Bye bye. So, family, thank you for watching. And sorry again for the technical difficulty. Dr. Eddie had two different things going on for the church. So we weren't able to post the questions in time, but I believe Michael was able to answer the questions that were posted. So we just want to thank him again for taking his time to join us this evening on this discussion, and a very important discussion. As I indicated, a lot of us are working from home, and so we certainly do want to try our best to maintain physical health during this pandemic. So we hope you enjoy the discussions, and we hope that you'll be able to join us next week. We have a new guest that will be discussing on acupuncture and Chinese works. So thank you again for watching, and please, we still are in a pandemic, so continue to stay safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, and we hope to see you next weekend. Oh, Eddie put our email down. If you have any questions or concerns, please make sure you send it to emcunyourhealth@gmail.com. Again, that's emcunyourhealth@gmail.com. We look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.